Hello and welcome to the channel. Today's a good day. I got mail. So, you might watch my previous videos. If you haven't, then I think the link is going to be like right here to my front bumper build and my rear bumper build. So what I've done with those is I put them into CAD and I made files, DXF files, to where they can be laser cut. And so what I did, the same thing with a winch bumper. So I'm going to try to throw some video of some of the CAD work in right here somewhere and explain that to you a little bit there. So you've seen my previous bumper that I built. So I took the whole thing, I stuck it into CAD. That's what it is. This is it here, and you can see the bumper itself. This is the old bumper, the one without a winch. Well, I know that this bumper fits. I built one to fit, and so I said, hey, I'd like to look at the front of this bumper. Let's cut out this section here so that we can put a winch in it. So I actually ended up completely redesigning the entire bumper to look like, move that out of the way, we'll get to that in a second, to look like this. This is the bumper that you're looking at. So now I wanted to make sure it fit on the vehicle without just fully prototyping it on the vehicle. I wanted to be able to build it and cut the flat sheet metal and build it, bolt it right on. So in order to know whether it would work or not, I took my old bumper, which is here, and I have my bolt holes. I patterned a lot of the new bumper off the old bumper. Got my bolt holes here, mounting brackets. Well, I slide this in here. I know I could constrain this, but I'm just going to do it this way. So slide it in there, and then I can flip this around and I can look at it. So the holes line up on my mounting brackets. The top surface of the two bumpers, I constrained those to line up. And you have your new winch bumper. You have your old bumper without a winch, and you can look at it. Okay, where am I going to have interference? Am I going to hit anywhere? Well, I know that the old bumper did not hit anywhere, so I followed the profile of the old bumper closely, not exactly because the winch bumper is a different design. Followed the old profile closely, and I can see the difference as you look here. You can see the difference between the old bumper and the new bumper. See, there's a line right there. So my new bumper, my winch bumper, this says my width is correct, and it's not exact. It's going to be a little bit different because it is a totally different design, and it's not going to stick out too much further. I can measure my distance. Okay, there's that face there of the new bumper. There's the face of the old bumper. I've got about 2 inches further stick out. So I know this is going to work out really well, and that's how I knew I was confident in the new bumper working. And so after I build the bumper in CAD like this, that was obviously an assembly. I build each individual piece. Like this is the left-hand piece to the front. Build each individual piece in CAD. CAD is awesome. And I hit go to flat pattern. It'll go there eventually, and these are the pieces you receive in the mail. Now that I've explained how I designed that, we're going to open up packages. And my intention is to have these kits available for you to order and build on your own for your tractor. This kit is for an 89 to 94, maybe 95 tracker, 2-door. So contact info is in the description. If you want to order a kit, email me, I'll hook you up. Give you an idea of the weight of the bumper. Shipping weight on this box is 33 pounds. Shipping weight on this box is 8 pounds. You're looking at bumper weight of about 41 pounds. Maybe your box opening skills are better than mine. top plates. There's my winch plate. There's front plate. Plates. That's exciting. This box. There are some corner pieces, the brackets to bolt it onto your vehicle. There. Some gussets. I believe that's everything. Fire hose. Alright. We'll get this laid out and I'll show you what we got. Those are the front plates. You can see where I had them stitch cut so that you can hand bend them. Because it'll go like that. This will be where the fair lead of your winch goes. And then you'll actually hand bend these down. So, two of those dirty buggers. Sweet, I'm excited about this. This will be your top plate here. Again, with hand bends in them all. I will explain how all of this works. This is your winch plate. Okay, that's your winch plate there. So that winch plate is going to be welded to there. Winch plate, winch mounts here. Fairly there, top plates go on here. I'll show you. So, that's exciting. These pieces I'm going to leave wrapped up for now until I get this going. So, do a little bit of cleaning up here and move on. Alright, so we got my fire hazard cleanup. I say that and I'm working on a wood table, whatever. I'm going to show you where we're going to start. So, you got the front plate. This is kind of the main frame of the bumper. There's a seam in the middle. We are going to grind these down. We're going to bevel them. And we're going to weld it together. So we're going to fuse that together. The reason I don't just do it in one piece is because of how long it is. It reduces the shipping costs by a lot to have to weld them together in the center. A little bit of extra welding, but it keeps the cost down. So, all right, let's get that done. All right, so I got it all lined up. I got it beveled here, and I clamped it to the table. I took a straight edge, and I laid it across the top right here to make sure everything's nice and straight. So we're gonna go ahead and weld this up. First, we're gonna tack it in a few places, and then we're gonna weld up. All right, so we get that all welded out, cleaned up, whatever. Ground flush, flipped over. It looks nice. So, a couple little divots in it, but it's all right. Now, we gotta bend it. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, clamp it to the edge of the table here, and we're gonna stand on it. So, little cheat sheet. This is your angle. This is your mounting bracket. This is your angle here. So this piece of it goes flat on there. This piece of it goes flat on there. Now, because you can bend this way, you can bend it that way, whatever your preference is. This is the outside of the bumper, so I'm bending it that way. And so I'm going to bend it to that angle. So we can do this. And this is still hot. That's the beauty of stitch cuts right there. Super easy to bend. Move this down here to the other end. The only downside is you gotta weld along that line later. And that's not staying. Be nice to have a press brake, but intention of this is so that anyone can do it with their simple tools in the garage. Not everyone has a press brake. So kind of guessing at the angle. So if it's too hard to bend, go ahead and take your grinder, put a cutoff wheel on it, and then just scour the tabs just a little bit, and it'll bend a lot easier. You have to go through and weld it all back up anyway, so it doesn't really make that big a difference. Okay, we're gonna pull this off, check our angle. Again, this sits flat here, there. That one's got to go just a little more. Got to move more. Good there. Good there. So, all my angles there are bent. Now, it's just time to put our winch plate in, which is right here. So, bumper bends this way, and like this, it goes straight down. Okay, so I've got it relatively squared up. Show you the positioning of this here. So I'm putting this bottom edge right here, bottom of this plate, flush with that line across there. Now it's not flush all the way across, so I'm going to work it into where it is as I just put a little tack in a few places along it just to work it in to be right on square all the way along and flush with that line. So I'll start at one end and then kind of work my way through to the other end. So that's kind of my setup there. I also took a tape measure and measured from the end here to here on each end to make sure it was centered. I came up with about 12 and between 12 and 3/16 and 12 1/4. That's what I came up with. Okay, we got these tacks tacked in there. It's all squared up. Now we're gonna actually take our little gussets and we're gonna stick them in the back. So they go in like so. I'm probably gonna take them and set them about 1.5 inches from the holes that the winch mounts to. Move them outside of those about 1.5 inches. That gives you plenty of room to get your reach in there and get your bolts in. From this hole here, this is where your winch bolts on. I'm moving over this way about 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna tack those in. That holds this plate here from moving. So that's where we're at. Keep moving along. All right, now the plates are tacked in there like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a few more tacks and welds on this one and get it ready to get these top plates put on it and bend these ends up. So I'm gonna work towards that. We'll yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so got it all welded out and now I bent it. So I just stitch welded that. It doesn't really need to be welded solid. You can weld it solid if you want. And then I took a clamp, clamped it here and here, and then that put this bend right here in the bumper. So bent it right down there, and if you look at it, it's lined up, same spot. So it's all lined up the same way it was before. All bent down. I'm gonna put a couple tack welds in that one, and then go do the other end, and then work on get my top pieces set in here. So here we go. There you go, few stitch welds right in there. Looking good, we're getting there. I'm gonna go do the other end. All right, I'm working on getting this top plate put on here, and it's a bit of a booger. So what I've done, because the lineup on this is like this, you want it, I designed it to have a V groove right here, so you get a nice weld bead through here. What I did is I put a piece of angle iron on the back, and because I bent that bottom already, it bowed, the top part of this bowed like this. So I stuck a piece of angle iron on the back of it, and I stuck a clamp to clamp these two together to pull that straight, and you can see that it's not straight down here. Then I took the top plate and I clamped it to the angle iron, so that gets my that keeps my 90-degree square there that needs to be there. And then I lined up this end, this peak here lines up with here, and then this peak here lines up with the V groove on the bottom, which I just took and drew a straight line through. So I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to put a tack weld here, then move up, put a tack weld here, and then maybe one here, and move my clamps up here to clamp this one, and then I'll keep tacking it in. So if I had more clamps, I'd clamp it all, but I only have 2 clamps. For some reason I couldn't find my other ones. Hate it when that happens. But anyway, we'll keep moving through this, and then I'll do the other end. All right, done a little more work here. Let's see if you can see it, yeah. So I went ahead and welded that out right there. Got that all welded out, looks really good. And then make sure you don't weld past the stitch break here. And then you take and you bend this one down into here. So it should, if everything's square and all your angles are right, it should be nice and flush all the way here and nice and flush all the way through there. These should line up nice and perfect. So I had to work with it a little bit, get everything to line up, but it's coming together. It's actually looking, so far it's looking really good. So then I took my, this is my mounting bracket for mounting it to the vehicle. So that bolt there and that bolt there hold it on the car. I took that and it sets in the end. So your winch plate is here, it welds in here, and then this bracket, I only have it tacked in there right now, but it'll weld all the way around, here, here, and here. So that's going to be what holds your whole bumper to your vehicle, and then your winch sits right in here. So I'm liking the way it's turning out. The only issue I may have is I may not be able to get this front bolt into the winch. So if that's an issue, I'll modify my CAD file so it's not an issue for you. Other than that, it's coming together nice. This is awesome. Love the way it's turning out. Yeah, hopefully I didn't miss any steps, because I'm kind of doing things and I forget where I stopped recording and started recording, and I'm just putting it together. So I'm kind of getting, sometimes I get carried away in what I'm doing and just excited about finishing it. So the last thing that's going to go on here is a little corner piece. About poke myself in the face with that. The last little corner piece actually goes on here. I'll show you how it goes in. It goes in right like that. So it fits in there nice. So that's an indication that everything lined up right. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this out. I'll do the other end. I'll get this tacked in here. Actually, I'm gonna weld all this out, and I'll get the other end done. So it's a lot of work, a lot of little work, just trying to get everything lined up and tacked in and welded out. But you know, this one's a little bit more difficult than the first bumper I did, the one without a winch. So yeah, not as difficult as the rear bumper is going to be. That's an interesting one to do because there's a lot of angles, but everything's hand bend, so it should turn out pretty good. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this one finished out. Just looking at it, trying to figure out what else I should tell you about, but it's really coming together nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish this one up and I'll show you where it's at. I'll show you how it looks. All right, we got the bumper all welded together. It was a lot of work. So tips and tricks, I'd say make sure you tack things before you fully weld anything out. I got a little excited and welded some stuff out that I shouldn't have, and it caused me a few little issues. Nothing big. Let's see, that's my kid's bedtime alarm. Let's see, that's about it. Just these clamps are amazing. Clamps are your friend. A little bit of angle iron's your friend. But yeah, it's not super hard to build this one. It's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit challenging. It's not terrible. It just takes a little bit of thinking, a little bit of doing to do it. I've been on it for about 6 hours is what I'm into this. I haven't ground everything out yet either. So I'll show you here. This is it. Get some close-ups of it. So this is where I ground it out. That's what my look I'm going for is. So this is all welded right here and you can't even tell. But then here I just welded all the stitch cut back together right along there and welded the V grooves together here. Yeah, so it's looking good. And let me flip it up so you can see the other side. It's still kind of hot. All right, here's the other side. You're looking at it from the front. So here's where I drew my line to line up my V groove with my bend. And here's where I drew my line from here to here to line up my V groove with my bend on the top, so I can locate my top plate in the right spot. Let's see. Yeah, overall it turned out great. Here and here. So here in a little bit I'm actually going to bolt it on the car before I paint it. I'm going to bolt it on the car before I paint it up. I want to see how it looks. But yeah, from here on out it's just cosmetic. I'm going to grind all the welds out smooth, make them look good, and bolt it on the car. Then I got to get a winch and put it in there. But one quick thing I noticed when I was doing some of the testing on the winch, which you'll see later on in a different video, but I noticed that it was moving side to side. I needed some more additional support in this mount, so I built a gusset to go right in here. Your kit will come with one of those. It just goes right in here. I put it about 1 inch up from where that one is, give or take. Go ahead and fit it in there. It doesn't, as long as it's somewhat close to where that is, it's close enough. Yeah, so that'll help from keeping it from deflecting side to side. That's what the other pieces in your kit are. So just wanted to make sure I pass that along. I may end up having to slot this hole here and this hole here so you can actually get a bolt in it. That's my only concern. So we'll see. Yeah. Thanks for watching.